Hey there, Flight Simulator fans. This is Dutch Owen again, and we're going to be bringing something very special to you in this Flight Simulator video made in early February of 2017. We're going to be showing you a new feature for FSCaptain that's under development in version 1.8. We've reached the testing stage, and I'm eager to show you what this can do for you. Our adventure today is going to be pretty amazing. You're looking at me, or a avatar of me. I don't really look like that. Sitting in a T-28 light attack aircraft. This is the Ants airplane T-38D. Back off a little bit. We are sitting at the super secret CIA airfield, airbase in central Laos in about 1966 time frame. As you can see, there's some more T-38s and a O-1 and some other aircraft. Looks like a C-123's spinning up his props over there. We've got some DC-3s and a Beech D-18S there. All flying for Air America. We're going to be flying for Air America too today, but we're not going to be flying what you would consider a normal FSCaptain mission. If you look under the wings, you'll see that we have rockets and gun pods mounted. We're going to be flying an armed reconnaissance deep into the plain of jars in central Laos on an Air America mission. Before we go too far into the mission, let me switch scenes here, and I'm going to show you a map of the mission we're going to undertake today, and then we'll pop right back into the cockpit and get started. So let's check out the map, and we'll be right back. Okay, it's always good to do some planning, especially for something like this before you get flying. So let's take a look at our map, and I'll explain what our mission is going to be, so you'll have some reference for what we're doing when we're flying. Now, I've been using the word mission a lot in this little intro. Let me tell you that this has absolutely nothing to do with the FSX mission system. Instead, this is an actual mission or task assigned to us by the FSCaptain system, and it has inside of it a scripting engine, a new scripting engine for version 1.8 that allows things like this to be written and executed and become part of your FSCaptain career. If you're familiar with FSCaptain, you know that it allows you to fly for airlines. And previous to this, it's pretty much been all civilian oriented and oriented toward modern air transport, whether it's cargo or passengers. This new system, which we call contracts or missions, extends the FSCaptain system to allow you to break out of that civilian orientation and do more goal-oriented missions, which can be military missions or they can be military-like missions. For instance, airdrops, pickups, deliveries, reconnaissance, and even strike missions. What you're going to see today is something that's never been seen in the flight simulator world before. You're going to see us fly this mission, but you're also going to see that it is not a cakewalk. What you're going to see, and what's never been seen, is you're going to see that these little yellow circles on this map represent threats. Anti-aircraft artillery, enemy units, and they will shoot at us while we are in the air, and they can knock us out of the air. They'll be using tracers, they'll be using bullets, they may be using flak. All that will come up at us from these areas if we fly over them, and may come up at us in areas that are not warned about, because we really don't know what's going to happen here. All right, let's talk about the mission we're going to be flying. We're going to be flying from Longcheng Air Base in central Laos in the mountains, which is a secret CIA base, up to the Plain of Jars, which is this large flat area here. And pretty much in the center of the area is, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing any of these Laotian names. I'm trying to do it just from looking at the names as written on a map. This is the Xing Quang Airport on the Plain of Jars right here, VLXK, which is an airport you can fly to in Flight Simulator. It has an NDB, which you're going to use as a nav aid. We'll be flying up from Longcheng. It's only about a short 10-minute flight. We're flying up here. We come to this NDB. We notice south of the NDB here, the whole plain of jars here in 1966 is being fought over between the Pathet Lao, supported by China and North Vietnam, and the Royal Laotian and Mio and United States allies defending the plain here in the dry season in the winter of 1966. There's a major concentration of North Vietnamese and Pathet Lao here south of the airport. They're holding this area. If we fly over this area, we will probably almost certainly be shot at. Aircraft in this area have received flak. We're going to try to avoid this. We're going to go straight to the NDB. We see that our forces are still holding the VLXK airport. So we're going to fly north of there up to the top of this little tree-lined area and then take a turn down here to our reconnaissance zone over here. This airport, I can't remember the name of it, it's VLPV. It's currently being fought over. There's a fight going on there. Enemy forces are all in this tree line. They're shelling the airport. And they will definitely shoot at us if we get over in this area. So we're going to try to avoid this too. We're on a reconnaissance. We're not actually on a strike mission. So we're going to be flying north of there and into this red marked zone. Arm Recce FFZ, free fire zone. That means if we see anything in there, we can shoot it. We have rockets, we have guns. And we're going to be looking for trucks, supply trucks, moving along this this road. It says, beware double A, anti-aircraft, further east. What that means is if we go further east than this box, which is this little turn right here, we may run into some North Vietnamese flak or any aircraft here. And there's absolutely no guarantee that we're not going to run into AAA here. But what we're going to do, we're going to fly, take this general route, fly into this zone, fly up down this road, see if we can find anything along this road that happens to be there. And if we see it, we're going to try to blast it. It's a free fire zone. Once we've expended our ammunition, or if we get to the end of this road and back and we don't see anything, we're just going to retrace the route back along here to the NDB and then fly back to Longcheng. So that's our plan. Let's get in the cockpit and let's do it. All right, here we are back in the cockpit of our T-28, ready to start this mission. I'm not going to be doing any long explanations of what's going on or setting background or anything. We're just going to dive in, and I'm going to concentrate on doing the mission, and I'll try to explain what's happening as I go along. First step, sitting in the cold cockpit here, is to bring up the FSCaptain FCDU so that we can set up our mission parameters here. Turn it on. Verify that we're at L-28, which is the airport we want to be at. Log in. And we see the FSCaptain pre-flight menu, which looks like a standard pre-flight menu, except that if you look very closely, you will find that in the middle of the right-hand side, it says Select Mission, which will bring up the mission that we've pre-selected to fly today. Click on Select Mission. We get our mission screen, which is for the rest of the time, we're only going to be looking basically at this screen. We have a few options to look at weather and some data, but basically we're going to be sticking to this screen and this screen only, and there's only going to be two options down below. It's all very simple compared to the more elaborate FSCaptain civilian flights. The mission we're being offered is an armed reconnaissance to road 12 miles east of VLXK Airport. That point is on the 044 degree radial from 108.55 VOR, which is the VOR here in Longcheng at a 30 DME point. We're to scout the road east and west. Beware possible heavy anti-aircraft 3 nautical miles east of VLPV in trees, which we already know about. Those were the two small circles of enemy activity where the battle is taking place. I'll point that out as we fly along. Our options are to decline the mission, and if we were to decline it, we would be offering another mission if there was one. We're going to accept, of course, because that's our whole point of being here. We move immediately into the mission sequencing. There are 5 sequences along a mission. The first stage is load, and it asks to verify the loadout. It doesn't load the aircraft for us except when we're loading cargo. It's not going to do anything with the weapons. It's our responsibility to do that, so we will bring up the Ants airplane weight and balance table over here and verify that we have rockets armed on our number 1, 2, 5, and 6 pods, hard points, and gun pods on our inner ones here. That's what we want to have, so we will close up the thing. We have verified our loadout. That's all we need to do at this point, so we will proceed. That's just to remind us to check it. It doesn't actually check it for us. If we're wrong, we're wrong. We now proceed to the outbound phase of this mission. Flight 434 is now outbound. There's a description in case we need to read any more of this. Mission clock has started. And we have options to abort the mission, in which case it will simply end it without logging it. Or we can do a premature end of the mission, which would end it and log it at this point before the mission objectives have been accomplished. If we want to get the points and accolades for this mission, we'll want to wait until this becomes complete, which we'll see once we land and stop moving. Alright, there's nothing to do at this point. We don't want to end or abort. We could, if we inadvertently click this, we'll get a confirmation. We can say return. No, we don't want to do that. 42 seconds into the mission, let's get going. Shouldn't have to do much more with FSCaptain from here on out. It will track the mission seamlessly for us. So close that, and let's get going. Start with T-28. Well, while it's starting, I will mention a couple of caveats here. This is cinema verite. This is real. No cuts, no script. I don't know what's going to happen. Whatever happens, you'll be riding along with me. See? Another caveat is I am not an expert military pilot, and even expert military pilots don't always do everything perfectly, so you'll probably see me making all kinds of blunders. I just hope to survive my blunders. I think it was Napoleon who said, "He who makes the fewest blunders wins." So let's try that. Let's turn on our generator. Test our alternators. Close our cowl flaps. And warm up the T-28 at 1600 RPM. As I'm sitting here warming up and we're waiting for the cylinder head temperature to get in at least above the red line before we taxi, let's set our radio. We want to set 108.55, the Longqing VOR. We want to set 230, which is the NDB outside the airport we're headed for. And we want to set 44 degrees on our VOR here, because that's what we're shooting for, so 44 degree radial. We're not going to fly along it because that would carry us over some flak. Verify by taking a look at FSCaptain that it is the 44 degree radial. We're looking for 30 DME. That's a joke for us in the T-28 because we don't have a DME receiver. We'll just be eyeballing it. Set our altimeter to the Longqing altitude. Verify that our cylinder head temperature is now above the red. And let's get this mission underway.
Ground, North American 258, request taxi for takeoff, departing straight out. North American 258, taxi to and hold short of runway 14. I taxiway runway 14. Contact tower on 12.9.905 when ready. Taxiing, hold short runway 14. Via taxiway runway 14. North American 258.
Alright. I don't know if you can tell by the sound of my voice, but these military missions have a way of producing a little bit of adrenaline. Even though it's not real, and even though this is a simulation, I still want to perform this mission correctly, and I want to survive and not screw anything up. So let's hope that we do it really well. Here, let's get started.
Tower, North American 258, ready for departing straight out at runway 14. North American 258, cleared for takeoff, runway 14. Straight out departure approved. Cleared for takeoff, runway 14. North American 258.
The difference here is that when you're flying in normal flight, yes, there are things that could happen, mechanical failures, various things that rarely happen during an FSCaptain flight. This, however, is a world of danger. This is Longchen in the Laotian Mountains, central area. There's gorillas in these hills, and they might be sitting there just waiting to take a pot shot or two at a passing airplane. Anytime we fly over these mountains, we're taking a risk. All right, let's get going. And we're off the ground. Let's throttle our RPM back below the red line. Climb power. Left turn. Let's head on out of here. Fly up this little valley as we climb. We should be turning that away, but I don't really want to run into any mountains, so let's keep climbing at a reasonable rate until we get to the clear area, and then we'll turn north and track to our NDB. We're aiming to fly about 7,000 feet. From experience, I can tell you that's fairly safe. It'll get us above all these mountains, except for the very highest ones. But we can see them anyway. It's kind of a hazy day, but very typical winter day in the Laotian Mountains. We'll turn north to track to the NDB. We're headed for about 7,000 feet, like I said. On the switch frequencies, I don't really need to hear all those company airplanes taking off from Longchen. The Pilatus are small, short takeoff aircraft used for delivery to the little airstrips that Air America has built all through these mountains. I've flown some of those missions, quite interesting, to land on a 800-foot long runway. I don't think we're going to fly over a Lima site. If we do, I'll show it to you. For now, we're just tracking to the NDB in the Plain of Jars. I'm rubbernecking here because if somebody shoots at us, I want to see it. I have been flying over these mountains and see a stream of tracers come up out of the woods. Nothing much I can do about it, except maybe go after them with my rockets. But quite honestly, I can tell you from experience, the odds of hitting one of these guys, I mean, they're impossible to see down there. They're camouflaged. You can see where the tracers come from. But if you don't have some bombs to lay on them, rockets just don't do it. We're carrying rockets today because if we happen to see any trucks, that's a nice soft target. And if we see them, they're going to be in the open anyway. So we hope to be able to take them out with our rockets. Alright, we have reached our 7,000 foot. So we'll throttle back our engine power. At least you can hear me talk better now. I don't know if that's an advantage or not. Mixture back to normal. And we are tracking toward the NDB, as we can see from this little needle down here. At 7,000 feet, we are generally above the range of small arms. So any guys with AK-47s down there, whatever they got, they won't be able to hit us. But if we happen to fly over a ZPU or a 50 cal, they can definitely take pot shots at us. But it doesn't really happen all that often. But it does happen. The T-28 does not have an autopilot, so I'm hand flying this whole thing, so that's my excuse for screwing up altitudes and doing all kinds of things. Actually, there is no screwing up in the sense that it is what it is. If we accomplish our goals and get back and land in one piece without too many, without bending any metal or too many bullet holes in the airplane, we've succeeded. Meeting altitude restrictions and flying within the narrow parameters is not what counts here. What counts is getting this mission done. What is the mission? Well, it's armed reconnaissance. We have rockets, we have guns, we're going to be cruising for trucks or any soft target we can see. If we run into any hard targets, like tanks, APCs, our rockets really aren't going to hurt them. Our 50 cal might tear up an APC. Company airplanes on this frequency too. Okay. As you can see, our right window there, that flat space isn't really flat, but it's a lot less mountainous than where we've been. That is the southern part of the Plain of Jars, which is basically a big battlefield here in 1966 between the communists, Pathet Lao, and their allies, China and North Vietnam, and the Royal Laotian Forces and their allies, the Meo tribesmen, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, that live in these mountains that were displaced when the communists moved in, and the United States, which is supporting them because they're anti-communist. We are passing into the Plain of Jars. We're going to be turning north. Yes, we are going to be turning away from the straight track to the NDB, and I'm going to show you why once we get back up to 7,000 feet. What you see right there is a line of a ridge line of hills. That hill is the big yellow circles that we saw on our map. That's occupied by a strong force of Pathet Lao and North Vietnamese. I think the 295th Independent Brigade, they call it Independent Brigade. They're occupying that area. They have anti-aircraft and armor and all kinds of nasties. If we fly over that, we'll get shot at, so we're avoiding it. Roughly 7,000 feet. Alright, there's our airport. That's the airport we're looking to fly to. The NDB is that little flicker of light. I don't know if you can see it, that little flicker right there. We don't really have to fly directly to the NDB. It's not actually a waypoint. It's just a marker for us to be looking for. The whole concept of flying a flight plan is less important here. I mean, it's important to fly a plan, but to be absolutely precise is not. Nobody's monitoring your precision really. At least here and now, in this particular situation. It's VFR flight on our own. Remember, we were to fly to the DB. We're taking the route of discretion and flying a little north of the NDB to stay even further away from those bad guys over there. The next checkpoint was the sharp pointy end of that forested area, which is right there. If you can see that, I'm marking for you. We're gonna get up there, we're gonna fly there, and once we get there, we're gonna start a descent into our reconnaissance zone. The reconnaissance zone is actually over there. Remember how forested it was over in that area? We're gonna be flying into there. The one thing we want to look out for, the one thing we want to spot and know where it is the VLPF airport. Because that airport, making a gentle turn here, that airport is the scene of fighting, and the airport is our danger zone. And I believe I see it now. I believe it's that runway right there. I could be wrong. Let's double check. I believe that is it. We can zoom in. Use binoculars. Nope, it's over there. That's it right there. It's important to see that because that entire tree, that whole ridge from that top hill on down past there and over into there is occupied by enemy forces that are laying siege to this airport at the moment, defended by our troops, which are basically in here. And so that's a danger zone for us. We don't want to fly over any of that area. We're looping around it to get to our recon zone. Our recon zone is up there. And at this point, things start to get interesting. Let's arm our rockets. It should be a rocket arming procedure. We see we have a target on our scope. That little ding tells us that we are now engaged. What that says is we are entering the zone of our reconnaissance. So we know we're engaged, so let's turn into it and see what happens. So we're in a slow descent. The road we are looking for is it this one or is it that one over there? Let's see. Let's see what we have here. Let's fly up this road. We're headed on a heading of... Whoa! 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 Did you see that? I saw a flash. I don't see anything right now. Let's get away from it. Whoa! Definitely taking fire from that. Ow! We just got hit. Damn, that was quick. What's the situation? What have we lost?
Flight heading 075, climb and maintain 0.7,000. Flight heading 075, ascent and maintain 1,7,000.
Did they hit anything? We still have engines? Still have power? Alright. Still have flaps. We still have hydraulics. They are. All our gauges seem to be working okay. I'm going to continue the mission. That didn't sound good, did it? Alright, where are we? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Our ailerons are not operating correctly. We do seem to be able to turn the airplane okay. Oh no. It's not good. That's not good. Rapid into this mission. I'm not going to engage anybody right now. Let's get back. I'm going to do a precautionary emergency landing. What the hell? We're flying into a hill here. Just my luck to run into another aircraft gun. I'm gonna steer back to the VLKP airport and do a precautionary landing there. I don't like the way those ailerons are looking. Besides, technically, we've accomplished the mission. We did get into the target zone and do a little bit of reconnaissance before we took a shot. I'll be quite lucky if I don't get hit again. Don't like... That was a lucky shot that guy hit me with. Let me tell you. Alright. I can fly the plane okay, basically. I seem to have roll authority. I believe the shots came from over the other side of that ridge. I saw him streaking past in the back, but every time I turned around to look, I didn't see anything. It's just my luck. Holy shit, the last thing we want to do is go, oh, we're flying right over the damn... No. Yep, there they go. Tracers. Oh, God. Ah! I hate to look at them. For some reason, it just seems like they're going to hit me when I look at them coming up out of the... Told you I was a bungler. I got too close to the enemy there. I was about to fly right over them, which could have been absolutely fatal. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to fly back to the airport here. And we're going to make a precautionary landing at the friendly airport. We're going to check out the ailerons and flight controls. And see if we can make a quick repair and go out and try this mission again. Because after all, the mission doesn't end until we end it. I can land, I can get repairs, I can take off, I can keep flying, do whatever I need to do. But you're going to ride with me while I do this landing too. Because that could get interesting. 5,500 feet. Let's turn toward the airport. Yep, the airplane is definitely not It's having problems turning. Am I on fire? I don't see any smoke. Can't hardly see the airport in this haze. There, it's over there. Gear. It's nice to have gear working. Last time I landed in this place, I didn't have any gear. Man, it wants to drop on me. This is not good. Good thing we got a nice long runway here. Unfortunately, it's got trees on one end of it. Flaps. Flaps? I have no flaps. Alright, no flap landing. With dicey flight controls. Damn. Damn. That was not pleasant. Coming in too fast. Engine power to brake. Oh, that was not easy. That airplane did not.
November 81682, 6 miles southeast of Victor, Lima Victor Victor. Request IFR to NTN, ready to copy. Lattice November 81688, clear to the NTN, airport as filed. Squawk 4165. Lattice November 81688, clear to the NTN, airport as filed. Squawk 4165. Lattice 688.
I don't have any brakes, really, do I? Nope. I don't have any brakes. Anybody got any ideas?
Turn right heading 200, proceed on course. Climb and maintain 6000. Lattice 688. Lattice 688. Climb and maintain 7200.
Maybe this little ridge will stop me, or maybe I'll crash into it, and it'll all be over with. I don't know. We climbed it! No brakes. Think I should taxi to the airport or just call it quits here? Holy crap. I think we're going to call it quits right here. I've had enough right now. This airplane shot up bad enough. Ending the mission. "28 minutes in." Well, that was more than I bargained for. Anyway, it is what it is. Ending the mission, and we're going to come back and give it another try after some repairs. Okay, back at our base, alive and well. Aircraft not quite so good. I'll do a little post-mortem on mission 55340 and what happened. In order to do that, I'll have to exercise my MS Paint skills. But basically, we came in a little north of the faux NDB here, tracked up toward this way. Came around the end of that forested area, And then we made our mistake by crossing and getting a little bit too far south and flew into our recon area, which we were about here. What happened was there were apparently some enemy guns in this area, or perhaps long-range guns here. They're equipped with the anti-aircraft that we have to worry about are 14mm ZPU-2s, which typically have tracers, and 37mm ZPU-37s, which are radar-guided flak guns. What we were getting shot at with was ZPU-2s, and they're pretty much in this area all through here. So I suspect they were located closer to our track than we wanted. So a combination of me going a little bit too far south and the enemy being located, we were hit somewhere along in here, in this area. Then we really screwed up. We came back here, we evaluated, we flew out this way, came back around, thought we were safe because we were on the other side of this ridge, made a turn too soon and started to head back to the airport. Actually, the track is more like this. Then we saw the airport and started to make our turn, and at this point they were shooting at us again. Right here. They didn't hit us that time, but so what actually happened was we came back all around here, came back in, and did our emergency landing here. So that's basically what happened. Our mistake was we needed to stay further north. After all that caution trying to stay away from these bad guys down here, we drifted too far south and got within range of the guns of the bad guys right here, and we paid for it because I was low and I was slow. Had I been higher, they would have not hit me. And quite honestly, you saw from that last encounter how many times they missed. That was a pretty lucky shot they hit me with there. But it wasn't entirely lucky because you could see if they're located here and I'm flying here, I'm flying away from them. It makes me more of a stationary target. So the shots come up here, they got a better chance of hitting me than if I'm coming along sideways. It's much more difficult to hit an aircraft going sideways because you have to compute lead. They didn't have to compute very much lead hitting me this way, which is why they got me. And if you think I'm just going on about that, all those factors are calculated in the firing of these guns. And those tracers are sim objects, and only if they hit you do they hit you. So it's all about as real as we can make it. And I'm looking forward to being able to release FSCaptain 1.8. There'll be a beta coming out. As soon as it's ready, there are still bugs in the system, and we'll work them out. We're hoping within the next couple of months to be able to get a beta out. The beta will be a public beta, and everybody will be able to try this out. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I may devote myself to doing a little revenge video and take an F-100 in here and drop some bombs on these guys. Maybe. Maybe not. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.